is Research Director at the Centre for Migration Control, Robert Bates. Good morning, Robert.
Morning, Kev. Thanks for having me.
Listen, well, I want to talk about the migrant black market of working. Extraordinary statistics just emerging that immigration enforcement officers are making the highest number of arrests for illegal working by immigrants in this country. 8,232 were arrested over the past year, 63% more than last year. Of those, 1,050 have been deported. So once again, we're not doing much about it. We're arresting them, then they get to stay here. So what is the damn point, to be honest with you? But I think first, Robert, I've got to ask you quickly, the awful news of what happened in Oxbridge happened on Monday night. We found out about it last night. The murder of a 49-year-old man just walking his dog called Wayne Broadhurst. The person stabbed in a frenzied attack. Another man, 45-year-old, critically injured. Another 14-year-old boy also injured. The person who's been arrested is a 22-year-old Afghani migrant on suspicion of this murder. It turns out he broke into this country illegally on the back of a lorry 5 years ago and was subsequently granted leave to stay. We understand it may be coincidental, but on the street, the quiet suburban street where this happened, there is a house of multiple occupation where asylum seekers live. This will bring into sharp focus the problem we got in this country with allowing into Britain thousands and thousands of mainly young men about whom we know nothing, right?
Absolutely right. We shouldn't have to live like this at all. And every incident that happens, such as this one, is the direct result of policy decisions that were taken by politicians. This man did break into the country. He did break our laws. There was no reason for the establishment to give this man the right to stay indefinitely and to welcome him into the embrace of the British state, where he was, of course, going to be eligible for benefits. He would have very likely had a very, very cushy life. But that doesn't change the fact that this is clearly an individual that hated us, hated our society, hated our civilization. And, you know, no matter of warm talk about how immigrants built Britain or how we have a duty to refugees is going to change the fact that many individuals that are breaking into this country are coming from parts of the world where they simply do not like us and want to do us harm. And I think it's about time that, you know, this endless procession of stories that we're now seeing finally focuses the minds of politicians who maybe think, oh, actually, this is probably a bit more of a problem than we expected it to be. I very much doubt that actually any action, any real action on the big picture will come from this. I think, unfortunately, we'll just hear sort of warm words from government ministers who assure us everything's okay. But yet it's not. They are housing individuals in the very hearts of communities. And this, sadly, is the inevitable outcome of that.
Exactly right. Now, let's quickly move on to this news that's emerged today, that over the past year, there were 8,232 arrests of illegal migrants for illegal working. Coming here, they're not supposed to be working, but they do. That's 63% more arrests than last year. Of these 8,232 illegal migrants being arrested for breaking our laws, 1,050 have been deported. Only this morning, Robert, the Home Secretary, slapping her own back about finally deporting this child sex offender from Ethiopia, Hadush Kabatu, back to his own country, said, she tweeted this: "If you come to this country and commit crimes, we will remove you." Well, the statistic I just gave you proves that's just simply not true. Asylum seekers pretty much are free to come to this country, most of them free to break our laws with gay abandon, and they don't get removed, right?
Well, that's a lie from the Home Secretary. We have 19,000 people, foreign nationals, that have come to this country and committed awful crimes who have just been released back into communities. That's a staggering figure. She's clearly trying to make a lot of hay out of this increase, but the simple fact of the matter is there are hundreds of thousands of illegal migrants working in the gig economy, in the black economy, and we're simply doing nowhere near enough to actually detain and deport them. Immigration enforcement is woefully underfunded. It has a budget that's smaller than some local councils. And, you know, you think, really, how are we going to get to grips with this absolutely massive issue and address those pull factors that are really one of the key causes behind the small boats crisis if we're completely emaciating the organ of the state that's meant to be enforcing it? And there are patterns here that we can, of course, notice. You know, the nail bars, the car washes. We know where these individuals are most likely to be working. So why don't we have a real concerted push to actually start demanding that every single one of those businesses registered under one of these codes is actually doing the proper right to work checks?
Well, we need to crack down generally, but it's just a lie to say if you break our laws you get deported. Not true, folks. Robert, great to talk to you as always. Robert Bates there from the Centre for Migration Control.